go through. What has happened to the Core FS, and why haven't we received any updates on it?
The update is not for the regulator to give. What it was that we have been working with Core FS. I think even a couple of days ago, my central regional office was in his facility. He's doing a lot of renovations. He's putting a lot of things in place to ensure that the contamination does not occur. So we have been working with them. It is not the regulator's job to keep coming out and saying we are at this point or we are at that point. When the manufacturer himself is finally ready and we go and do the final checks for him, if he wants, we will put it out there with him that the facility is now ready to start production. But at the moment, he is actually working on certain things that he needs to work on. And we are giving him the technical assistance to be able to do it quickly. So we visited the place in the last couple of weeks, or the last week, maybe twice. And I have a report of that visit. But it is not something that we need to put in the press on a daily basis as to what he's doing.
Okay.
Once it's done, we will let.
But what do we know about the efficacy of that product?
I think the product was registered as a supplement, and supplements don't have efficacy.
Right.
Supplements are products that are taken for well-being. So if you took vitamin C, I'm not sure what efficacy you're looking out for. But it is just a supplement, as in if you ate good food and you took the right diets, it will be part of building up your immune system. So currently, that is what the product is registered for. He's also looking to use that product in other treatment areas.
Right.
And with that, he's working with us, and we will work with some researchers to see whether the product can be used for something else. But as always, it will have to be clinically evaluated before that can happen.
Okay. Is there any sort of collaboration between the FDA and those who are into herbal products, especially in our bid to find a solution to this whole COVID-19 pandemic?
Okay. So the FDA regulates herbal medicines. I'm sure you know that. And we work with the herbal industry. Even, I think, 2018, we worked with our Technical Advisory Committee on clinical trials.
Right.
Because before every medicine can be used for treatment, you have to undergo trials. It doesn't matter whether it is herbal or whether it is orthodox. Even a medical device, before you can say it can measure BP, it has to be tried. So we sat down with our expert committee on clinical trials that has a herbal medicine practitioner on from the Center for Research. And they came up with models that can help herbal medicines move from not having proper indications to being said to be effective for certain diseases. And we've come out with models for at least 10 diseases. And we have met the research institutions. This we took on our own self, single-handedly,
right,
as the FDA. No regulator in the world does that. And we have worked with the Center for Plant Medicine Research and with KNUST, with Noguchi. We sat them all down in a meeting to look at how we can move herbal medicines to be able to at least be said to be efficacious for certain diseases. And we are waiting for them to come back to us on how they will cost those models, and then we will meet the herbal industry to discuss with them that you can go to Mampong or you can go to KNUST for these diseases and have your product tested in that way for them. So we work very closely with them.
Right. But so far, how many samples have been presented to you as supposedly having the efficacy to deal with COVID-19, for instance?
I can't say off the top of my head, but even today I had a call from one person who's coming to the office on Monday. I remember receiving 2 myself personally that I sent to the laboratory. But, and then there's, we're having a meeting, in fact, we had a meeting with KNUST that's also looking at the Artemisia plant for COVID. So they are going to start the trials as well. So off the top of my head, there are quite a few, but at least I can, in the last few weeks, I can say maybe about 4 have come in.
Okay.
For the last month or so, yes.
Right. And since you mentioned that plant, then let's talk about Madagascar. Madagascar is in the news now. We are hearing and seeing all manner of testimonies. And so for a lot of us here, we are wondering, is the FDA contacting their counterpart in Madagascar? Are they getting samples to test the efficacy here? What is happening, or we are simply overlooking the development in Madagascar?
You may use the word that is actually very interesting. Use the word testimony. Unfortunately, for medicines and treatment, you cannot rely on a testimony.
Purely science.
It has to be purely science. And we have looked at the amount of information we have on Madagascar. What we have so far is that 20 people were tested over a period of 2 weeks and 3 were cured. I think we need a bit more than that. So we are not overlooking it a bit. I discussed with my counterpart in Nigeria when I heard that Nigeria was taking it. She unfortunately was not aware of it. And we had a meeting yesterday, actually, with the WHO to look at how to move some of these medicine. And it's not just the Madagascar medicine, it is all herbal medicines. So they have come in to support us, the researchers all over the West Africa, to see how we can look at herbal medicines. And I know the Africa Union is also looking at it to see how they can help the Africa continent in general to move some herbal medicines into treatment. So yes, a lot is being done. Okay,
but does it surprise you that countries like Equatorial Guinea and Tanzania are already going for the COVID organics?
I'm not sure what you mean by surprise me. As I said, for our people and for most countries where there's proper regulation, you would base it on science and not on testimony. So I'm not sure whether they're going in for it and going to test it, or whether they're going to do some trials, or they're going in for it and just taking it. But we are looking at our local herbal medicines and seeing how we can move them. If for any reason the Madagascar product does come here as samples, it will go through the same procedure and would ensure that we have proper data and proper results, and not just based on testimonies and based on 2 people who survived out of 20. We'll make sure that we have the right statistics and the right things for the people of Ghana. We need to make sure that they are safe, because every medicine, no matter what, will have a side effect. Herbal, food supplement, whatever it is. So we want to ensure that we've done that before we allow products for Ghanaians to take.
Okay. In wrapping up our conversation tonight, now we have 4,012 cases. A lot of people have been unsettled by the news yesterday, and we expect the president to tell us exactly what the way forward will be. But for the millions of Ghanaians who are watching you tonight, what would you like to tell them?
When I was walking in here, I saw something on one of your boards that said, teamwork makes the dream work. And what I like to say is that we all need to come together. We cannot half of us be doing what is wrong and half of us doing what is right. If we don't work together as a team, we will never beat COVID. I think yesterday was 40 years since smallpox was eradicated. And smallpox used the same processes: contact tracing, identification, testing. Well, I'm not sure whether they use the nose mask, because it may not have been a respiratory disease. But those were the same interventions that were used to eradicate smallpox. So it has been done in smallpox. It can be done in COVID. But teamwork, all of us working together, not some people being at the beach when they're not supposed to be there, or people gathering in large numbers without nose masks. I'm glad I'm socially distanced from you. When they shouldn't be. But I think government is doing a fantastic job. We are testing. We are using the right test kits, which is very important. We are doing our contact tracing. All the institutions that are supposed to be working, Ghana Health Service, Noguchi, the frontline workers are doing an excellent job. And we, as the people of the country, have to support them. We cannot be blaming anybody. FDA, I have my staff working Saturdays and Sundays, sometimes 24 hours, to ensure that we have the right PPEs out there, to ensure that the medicines are tested, to ensure that our borders are manned. And if we all don't do the same thing and the right thing, and we just complain and we just point blame, we are not going to get anywhere. Smallpox was eradicated 40 years ago. COVID can be eradicated, or we can win the battle against COVID. Okay. So let's come together and do that. Thank
you very much. But quickly, a viewer wants to know whether you are making strides with the FDA app. The app you launched some time ago.
The Med Safety app. Yeah. Yes, we are making strides, and we'll encourage everybody to use the app. It is an app that if you download it onto your phone, Android or an iPhone, whatever phone it is, and you have any adverse reaction, or you take any medicine, including herbal, that you think has not worked, please just report it on that app. It's much, much quicker. We respond to it almost immediately, and you know exactly what is going on.
Mimi, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.
Mimi GHOne is the Chief Executive Officer for the Food and Drugs Authority.